Right, welcome to part two. We're going to have a look at another tool for selecting. This one's a really important one for the design industry, and it's the pen tool. Shortcut is P. Notice there's a few options here, including convert point tool. And also the other one to look at is the direct selection tool, A, and you'll notice there's two options for this, a black arrow and a white arrow, which is the direct selection tool. Shortcut for this is A. And remember, with any of these tools where they have multiple options, like the letter P next to the pen, if you hold down Shift and that shortcut, it will cycle through them. So if I hold down Shift, you'll notice, and hit P, it'll cycle through those variations. And that's the same with any of these tools, including Lasso tool and Marquee tool. So once you know the shortcut, it's going to save you a lot of time. Now the pen tool works a little bit differently than the lasso tool and stuff like that. It does take a bit of getting used to. It's designed to draw vector-based lines, and vector-based are basically mathematical lines which allow you to work with maths basically. So let me give you a quick example on how this might work. So let's pick out an area. I'm going to select this yellow part of the arm. So I'm going to zoom in, Control plus or minus. And of course, if we zoom in, we're going to notice that it is slightly pixelated. But if we want a nice clean selection, using something like the lasso tool might not be the best option for getting a nice clean cut for this. Pen tool, however, might. So the way the pen tool works is you click and then you move the line to somewhere else, and you click again and you click again and you make the shape. Now there is a little bit more to that. You'll notice this obviously isn't exactly how I want the selection, but I'm going to delete that. If you click to start, click to your next point, and then holding down the left mouse button, drag out, you'll notice that we get these handles. And we can go to the next point, click and drag, and we get these handles again, and so on and so forth. Now I'm not going to get too far into how to use this. It does take a lot of practice, and there's some tutorials out on there, but I will show you that there are some options in creating this a little bit neater. Now you don't want to have too many points to be able to click and drag, so you want to keep it out to a bare minimum. Click and drag and click and drag, and again it takes quite a bit of getting used to. Click and drag. And what you can do as well is you can rejoin, click. And the cool thing with this is you can always go back and re-edit. It's non-destructive. So we can click on, holding down Command brings up Control Command brings up my white arrow here, and this allows us to grab hold of our handles and move those around. So we do have a lot of control of these, and we can move those points around and we can fine-tune them. And as I said, it can be quite a tricky tool to use, but if you do need a very clear nice line, this is the one to use. If we hold down Alt on a point, we can click and drag out those curves and move them around. Or if it already has a curve, if you hold down Alt and click on it, it's going to straighten that up, and then of course you can redo them again. Now with the pen tool selected still, if I move that over an area that doesn't have an anchor point, I can add a new one, or if there is an existing one, you'll notice a negative sign will come up and it'll allow me to subtract there. Now don't forget, you do have the path selection tool that's going to select the black arrow, is going to allow you to move the whole object, or the direct selection tool, again Shift A, is going to allow you to grab certain points again to re-edit. So that's all very well and good. I haven't done a very good selection on this for demo purposes obviously, but just doing a real quick, let's see if we can do a quick neaten up a little bit. But I'm going to jump really quickly into why this can be quite a handy sort of situation to use. So let's say I have an area selected. If we look over here into our next to our layers panel, we do have paths, and what we have done is we've created a path. There's one just previously that I've done, And there it is there. So our layers, great, we've got our robots, our paths, there's our work path. So by having a look at that, there's a few things we need to do. Now we can create multiples of paths, we can get really complex. And what I do suggest, if you are going to be reusing a path, I suggest you rename it. So you simply double click into the paths area, and we could call this arm L. So for the left arm, hit OK. Now the reason why it's important to rename this, if we create another path, it will override that previously made one, so and sort of replace it. So it's important that we rename them, otherwise they will get replaced. Now once we've got that option there, we've got a few ways of selecting this. Now the first way is this little image in our paths here. If I hold down the command or control key, you'll notice that where the hand is, it gets a little marching ant box around it, and that will bring up this as a selection. And I go to my layers, and there's my robot, and I can go to my move tool, and I can start moving that around. There it is there, or step back, transform, or do that kind of stuff, or duplicate, or do whatever. So it's allowed me to select that, and it's done it very, very precisely to where I want those nice curves to go to. Now this selection is of course a bitmap. It's not vector, because it's now selecting back onto essentially what is a bitmap image made out of a lot of squares. The path, however, still sitting there. If we do select on that, I'm going to hit Control D, is still available to us. So we can jump in, use the pen tool or the direct selection tool, and we can adjust that as necessary. So it's another really important thing just to keep in mind when it comes to selecting that. So in a quick nutshell, I'm going to run through them super quick again. Marquee tool, great. We can use that for selecting circles and squares. Rectangle tool, same again. Remember, hold down Shift to add, hold down Alt to subtract. Now I'm going to quickly switch to the lasso tool, L tool. Again, you can use combinations of all of these. Holding down Shift to add, and I can draw in the shape there. Polygonal, again hold down Shift to add, close off the shape. Hold down Alt to subtract, and that kind of thing. Other quick one, wand tool and quick selection tool. Again, you can hold down Shift for this, or hold down Alt to subtract, and same again with the quick selection tool. Once again, be aware of stuff like sample layers and that kind of thing. Cool. Alright, got one more to have a quick look at, and that should be it.